An all-new Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You have mail.
Buffy's best friend unleashes an ancient demon onto the internet.
He's not out here. He's in there.
Its power to control minds
You're not jacked in, you're not alive.
is its deadliest weapon of all.
She's too close. What do I do?
Tell her.
Terror has a new address. The World Wide Web. An all-new Buffy.
Hi guys, welcome to another watch along on Maludin Productions. I'm your host as usual. My name is Marcel Nostroza, and I'd like to welcome you to my watch along for Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1, Episode 8, entitled I Robot You Jane. All right, guys. So if you've never been here before and you're curious to know how I do my watch alongs, in just a few moments, I'm going to switch over to the streaming service where I'm going to watch this episode for me. That is American Hulu. And what I'll do once I get over there is I'll count down from 3. I'll go 3, 2, 1 and play. And when I say play, if you want to, with your copies at home, that will be your opportunity to sync up with me. And so basically, we can watch this episode together at the same time. So I'm going to turn off my camera now and go over to Hulu and give you guys the countdown. Just 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right. So, in 3, 2, 1, play. How do you guys feel about this opening sort of summary previously on telling you what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is in season 1? Now, I at this point really get a good idea of what the show is about, but I found this little previously on section to be kind of annoying, but that's just me. And of course, I love the the openings to like 99% of Buffy episodes because the opening always hints at either the big bad or the continuing storyline to that particular season. And since this is season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's sort of establishing the the big bag, the big bad of that specific episode, but this is really, really great, sort of, pushing forward the legend of the evilness that Buffy is going to fight in this specific episode, and that's sort of excluding how ridiculous it is, but I think that's the charm of this episode, when you look at it, because at the time, the internet was such a new thing, and a story like this could work when today, if you wanted to do a story like this, I think as a writer, if you were pitching it, you would get laughed out of the room. That's a great shot of the demon going into the book. That's probably gonna end up in a library somewhere. I don't know what library do you guys think it's gonna end up in? I have no idea. And oh, great. It ends up in a library of Sunnydale. Seriously, does nobody ever come to this library, like, to get actual books? Or, like, does Jaws have the library continuously, on lockdown, basically? And, of course, I really love how Giles' character is sort of draped in this mistrust of the internet and how he calls it an infernal machine. how he calls it the idiot box. I really like that because when television was still around, old fogies used to call TV the idiot box. Yeah, and that character was like the prototypical of the guy that that would be, you know, locked in his mother's basement signing up to his first AOL account. Love that little dig by Miss Calendar there. So, so good. Thinking about where the relationship goes in later episodes and in later seasons. Oh, that's not concerning at all. Not one bit. Of course, the kick-ass theme song, I shall shut up so we can all watch it in quiet and in all its glory, guys, because this theme song never gets fucking old. I'm not saying that I did this watch along series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer just to listen to the theme song every episode I do, but that was possibly subconsciously one of the choices. I love Buffy there with the boots and the really, really awesome skirt. But I really, really love how this episode really shows you how vulnerable Willow is as a character because at this point, Willow has been essentially the woman in the chair, and this is the first episode where we really get to see her be vulnerable as a character, and we really get to see her gush over a guy. With that being said, it's a 100-year-old demon in a book, but I really like how the writers gave Allison Hannigan uh, an episode sort of centered around her. I'm not saying that they're not going to do that in the future, but it was really great to see uh, uh, a episode exclusively based around one of the big three this early on in the show's run. Also, this shows the later behavior, the later internet behavior that being on the internet and connecting with people can be uh, um, uh, addicting. And if you're online, you can get ideas of individuals that may not be entirely true when you meet them in real life and you see who they really are away from the safety of their keyboards and their computer screens. Also, I love the idea that in this episode, Buff is the voice of reason, and Buff is constantly constantly giving Willow words of caution and telling her to be safe and to be cautious of her conversations that she has with this guy because she doesn't wanna give away the farm just in case this guy is a fucking stalker, because that would be bad. And I love the use there of the early webcam. Of course, when this episode was made, webcams didn't actually work like that. And I like how this sort of mirrors the, uh, the the capability of hackers today, because hackers, um, prey on old people and, they call them up and say, "Hey, we're a part of this organization, and we notice that your computer is getting hacked." And essentially, hackers can do what was just displayed there by you giving access to your system by giving them your IP address, and that's technically possible today. So I really like the the internet fiction when this episode was made that the writer of this episode or the writers of this episode posed, but it's really terrifying how that internet fiction is closer to reality now than it was when they posed it back then. Charade, is that a word? Charade or charade? Can anybody look it up in the dictionary if those are still around? Yep. Everyone deserves to be. Also, this is really good story progression, by the writer, keeping the story focused on the big bad for this episode. I mean, granted, guys, as you listen to these watch alongs, you're gonna have to once in a while deal with my writer musings because I am a writer and I really, really enjoy when writers in the background really, really show story progression and take their idea and push it forward through the by uh, asking by making their characters pose actual questions that you or I would pose if somebody in our friend group was going through the situation that they pose in the episode. And this is someone who uh, is it basically the equivalent of somebody, seriously ill, or somebody who is been taken over by a demon that is roving the internet. And seriously, how do we not know that even at the end of this episode, how do we not know if the demon didn't offload himself to another server somewhere in some other town or some other school district, some other school district? I don't know if that's ever brought up, or I don't know if that was even possible uh, at the time, which I'm sure it wasn't. But I'm curious to know if somebody in the writers' room at the time brought that up when they were writing this episode. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Yeah. So so you won't get taken away in the van. See, this is very, very rudimentary 90s thinking style. Now you could probably do that within a second. Again, like I mentioned, if you had like the IP address of someone, that would be super easy to do. But back then, it was novelty. And again, if you're watching this episode along with me and think I'm bagging on the episode, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to explain to you how how freakishly accurate this episode was and how it introduced some themes about the internet that not only happened but went 100 times more than what this episode was thinking would be possible in the future to becoming an absolute nightmare eventually for some people. Glasses, but no trench coat. Bad buff. See, and this is where my idea comes back thinking, what if this sort of zombie that gets stuck in the computer didn't offload himself to some other place to have some other goons with backup servers to possibly stick him in another computer somewhere in another town? So, like I said before, and this is the last time I'll bring it up, guys. I would have really loved to have been in the rise room when this episode was being pitched by the 2 writers who wrote it or the 2 writers that were assigned to write it, and I wonder if Joss possibly thought of that when he was writing this episode, or if this was just a really funny episode that they needed to get out, to make their week. I like that. That Xander has, some remnants of the I really like how Xander comes out with these really intelligent facts once in a while, and the reason why he does that is I believe he still has some remnants of, um, no well, shit, I can't say that because I haven't gone over that episode yet. I can't say that. So, forget that I said that, guys. That sounds great. Let's do it. Also, this really makes me happy because it sort of, you know, foreshadows the fact that you're gonna have virtual assistants and you're gonna have, computer generated voices that can read, your text to you, and, like, if this was available, when I was a kid playing on my computer, I would have gotten involved with online chat rooms a lot sooner, but unfortunately, um, that wasn't in the cards for me until much later, but I really love how this, uh, again, foreshadowed the idea of the personal assistant. In this case, it would be on your computer, but what I'm referencing is a personal assistant now that we have on our smartphones and most of our computers, and of course, um, the personal assistant eventually leads to AI and all the Pandora's bullshit and all the Pandora's bullshit discussion that brings on, and how AI is gonna take over the world, and how much power do we give it, and how much power and how much do we restrain it because we're afraid of it and all that stuff. He doesn't Giles doesn't know how right he is about that. Oh, look at that. Paige is missing, and look at the scary cover. Ooh, could this be the big bad of the episode? I don't know. Could it? Uh-oh. Weird shit happening around the school. Kids getting murdered by being given the wrong doses of penicillin at school. Oh, what could that be? I don't know. I'm being cheeky, guys, if that's not what you are picking up on. I really love the lighting of the first season, although a friend of mine who has been a part of this, watch along series before said to me that to really watch the lightings at the as the season goes on because the money gets better, and when the money gets better, the lighting gets better. But there's something so charming about the lighting of season 1 because it seems so, like, such on the cheap in the right way, and yeah, but if you don't want it, no. Oh my god. Hot feet, feet of flame. This is really creepy. This is this is OP creepy. The demon is writing Dave's suicide note. Holy crap. Too late. Somebody might have beat you to it, Xander. You be dead. Also, I really like how the writers really coat that this is possible, and I really love episodes of Buffy where Giles sort of reaffirms the overall big bad of the episode, regardless of how outlandish it seems. I really love how they always give Giles that moment of credibility, and they always give Giles the moment of stabilizing the characters, but also stabilizing the audience in understanding the the evil that they face or the big bad that they face for that specific episode. He's in there. He's everywhere. Nope. This is very bad. Of course, he's a fucking demon in the internet. Of course, how bad is this? But wouldn't somebody like Willow have a computer in her home? And I'm wondering if Buffy knows that or if she's just operating on a hunch right now. So that's why she's probably operating on a hunch, and the writers had to have Buffy come back to the computer room to see this. Also, that line that he just said really brings back because in the early days of the internet, if you were lucky enough to have it, when you were using the internet, your phone line would be busy, and when you weren't, the phone line would work unless you were like really rich, so you could have 2 phone lines in your house, so that way you could be online and the phones would still work. But if you were a lower income family, you would have you would have the thing where, like I just said, if the phone worked, that would mean you weren't online, but if the phone didn't work, um, um, that would mean that you were online. So I really relate to that small, piece of dialogue that the writers gave Xander there. Have we ever met Willow's parents in the show? I can't remember, guys. Like, I seriously can't remember if we ever met Willow's parents in the show. Again, if somebody knows the answer, can you just comment down in my comment section below? That's not creepy. And that's not creepy at all. Oh, and of course, a psychopath. The willing henchman of the demon that's stuck in the internet. What? Again, where are Willow's parents? Are they out? Are they having a romantic dinner? Where the fuck are they? Also, I really love this reveal of Miss Calendar being more than she seems. She's basically more than just the computer lady at the school, and I really like what they do with her. And to push it even further, I really like how they sort of link her to Giles as a romantic interest in season 2. Of course, we all know where that leads to, which is heartbreaking to say the least. But we'll get there, guys. One step at a time here. Techno-pagan. Isn't techno-pagan like another word for Wiccan or a witch or I don't know. This episode is making me ask so many interesting questions that I'll probably never get any answers to unless I do the research thingamabob. Also, it's not really clear what Moloch's like grand plan of kidnapping Willow for. Like, was he seriously in love, or did he just want to see if he could like draw her to his evil plan of his 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 evil vindictive plan of taking over the internet, taking over the world one computer at a time? And yeah, yeah, he was. I mean, every psycho needs love, right? In this case, it's a demon in a robotic body built by a bunch of psychopaths. So yay. Huh. Evil henchman down. Oh yeah, he knows they're coming. All right, he knows. That's not going to help much. Also, gee, so he wants to be a thankful psychotic robot demon. Okay, okay. That's plausible as much as as ridiculously fun as this episode is. That's plausible. So I'll give that to the writers there. See, that shows how fucked up he is, which I love. Moloch, by the way. Is that silver? I wonder if that protects like the servers. It probably does. Buff, just kick the goddamn thing, girlfriend. Kick it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. That's poison gas. Okay, okay. That's why Buff is not, you know, breaking down the door within a second. Okay, I got that now. Ow! See? My thoughts exactly, Bob. Didn't that hurt? Oh, you go back, buddy. You go back screaming. Score one for Sander. Where did he go though? In the book? How do we know that? Look at the book. Look at the book. Look at the book. Open the book. Where is he? See? He's in the net. Oof. Ah, unplug and buff. Electrocute and buff. Or do that. I don't think he's in the net anymore, do you? Another day saved by the Scoobies. Is there anything better, guys? I don't think so. And of course, here is the start of one of the most beautiful, sweetest relationships in the series that is very, very short lived for reasons. I'll just say that much. They don't smell. Pour one out for people who actually like to read physical books. And there are a bunch of people in the world today that love physical, uh, um, phy- uh, um, physical, tactile things. It took me a while to get it out, but guys, but as you guys know, I always get it out. You just they laugh about it now, but they don't know how right they are. All right, guys, that'll do it for my watch along of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 1, episode 8, entitled "I Robot You Jane." Thank you so much for watching along with me. But just one quick thing before I go. If you guys like hearing my opinions on my watch along series, whether it's for Dawson's Creek or whether it's for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I do have a podcast where I talk about writing exclusively from a writer's perspective. It's the Mixtape Podcast. We are available on every podcast service out there known to man. So just look us up there. But to make it easier, we are on YouTube. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/the mixtape podcast. And I will put a link down to our channel on YouTube in the comment section below. So all you have to do is right underneath this video, there'll be a description and then a more section, and then there'll be a section called show notes. And under there, you'll see the link where you can click on it and it'll take you right over to our YouTube channel. Go over there, check out some amazing movies that we've talked about. And if you like us, give us a subscribe. Why don't you? So with that all out of the way and being said and done with, I will simply say, until next time, or as I say often, I'll see you when I see you.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.